Yeah, we're gonna have a little
Okay. So Mila, do you want to start by just setting some intentions?
Yeah, sure. So the intentions are very clear: expanding and securing the borders of Eretz Israel. And it's beautiful to see how through the work of Avodah Samaychin, the Rebbe shows us that this is what we can actually do. And at first, we might not necessarily see the connections, but as we understand the deeper dynamics of the world and how the world is actually constructed and how we are all connected with each other, and the fact that we directly impact the events of the world, we start becoming a little bit more enthusiastic about doing the work and seeing the results the way they're being displayed. And Baruch Hashem, the same way how we saw the whole fall of communism, right? We saw also the whole fall of Syria and Syrian regime. And B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to see more transformations in Russia as well, with changing of, Putin and everything else, as he tries to hold on to the last grips of communism in the country. And little by little, maybe not little by little, a large by large, we could see all these beautiful manifestations, and it all starts with us expanding our mind to Avodah Samaychin, and really without any fears, opening ourselves up and inviting godly consciousness and perceptions to enter and do the work. So
Okay, so we missed a week because of Hanukkah, and so now we begin another journey after Hanukkah between now and Pesach, and so just to refresh your memories, where we are. So the last time that we met, we spoke about the two aspects of Das, Maimek and Hamakas Das. I'm just going to do a very, very brief summary, and then I'm going to ask Mila to do a summary of the whole process, because in today's class, we're going to start looking at Iyun, which talks about the process of the makabel. Up until now, we've really been talking about the process of the mashpia, going from up to down, going from above seichel. How do you bring the essence of a concept from above consciousness, from another dimension into our consciousness? And that's the work of the mashpia. So he works from above the intellect, bringing something down into the intellect so that we can access it. And now we're going to start talking about the process of the makabel. How do we receive that? And how do we then access our own Hamaskil? And so last week, we looked at Das, and we explained that we saw how Das is kind of like the glue between everything. So the first place that we see with the mashpia, the Das, is Maimek, where the Das connects the Koach HaMaskil, which is above Chochmah, and brings the essence of the idea into Chochmah. So that's the depth of the Maimek of Das. And then the second aspect of Das was how Das connects between Chochmah and Bina. So once the ideas come into Chochmah, and you sensing the essence of the idea, but now you have to bring it, the mashpia has to bring it into Bina to make it accessible, bring it into explanations, bring it into mashalim. So that's where the Hamakas Das comes in. The Makas Hadas connects between Chokhmah and between Bina. And that's what we were looking at last week, the power of Das in this process of bringing information from above down to below. Mila, do you want to continue and just go through the whole process quickly?
Yeah, sure. So with this paragraph, Bezrat Hashem, we're going to be completing him explaining the whole process of Iyun. We're pretty much answering the questions that we have asked up until now, besides one question. Yeah, if you remember the three questions that we asked, why there is Bina and not Chachma in Shema Israel, why there is double nun in the word of his bonanus. And who remembers what was the third question? All the way in the beginning.
Just what is his bonanus?
Exactly. What is his bonanus? Right? What is that process? What is his bonanus? And he pretty much answered all of us, all the questions, by us understanding the whole concept of Iyun and where it stands in Seder Hishtalshelus, which is Bina of Bina. We understand what is his bonanus. His bonanus is Iyun. That's what it is. And why do we need double nun? Because there is two types of Iyun. There is the Iyun of the Makabel and there's the Iyun of the Mashpia. And they meet. So by us really understanding that, we understand that we pretty much answered most of the questions. However, we're still going to have one question open. Why Bina and not Chachma? Why is that such an important mitzvah of Yichud Hashem, of unity of Hashem, is given with Bina and with not Chachma? Seems that Chachma is higher than Bina. And from now on, meaning from the paragraph 13 until 19, he is going to be explaining the process and the advantage of Bina over Chachma. Because what we understood, the relationship up until now between Bina and Chachma, that they're on equal terms. And he mentioned that last week, the last time when we were together, that both of them are coming simultaneously from Koach HaMaskil. They are rooted in Koach HaMaskil. So now we know that they're on equal terms, although the Chachma is higher than Bina, the way it's being revealed to us, but in its source, they're equal. This is what we know up until now. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to see how, on a deeper scale, the Bina is higher than Chachma. So he first, he does a gradual paradigm shift. Right? You first want to bring our awareness that they are on equal terms, and then how Bina is actually higher than Chachma. So what do we know up until now? We know that we need to know about his bonanus. Then we went into understanding the difference between Chachma and Bina. These are the domains, two conscious domains that we are aware of. And the three dimensions of Chachma, Omek of Chachma, Rochav of Chachma, and Orech of Chachma. Then we have the three dimensions of Bina, also the Omek of Bina, the Rochav of Bina, and Orech of Bina, and how they relate. And we also learned about the three levels, right? Meaning the three processes that help us to master these domains. One was Ma'amik, then was Amakas Hadas, and then Iyun. Okay, what was Ma'amik? Ma'amik is the Mashpia, who is able to birth concept from within himself, from his Koach HaMaskil, which is the power to conceptualize anything. And when he gives birth to the concept, he also needs to nourish the concept. Okay, and he lowers it to Amakasadas. Okay, so it's not just going to be the concept, but it's going to be a developed concept with proper Chachma and with proper Bina. Okay, and then when the Makabel appears, he needs to do a process of Iyun to deliver it to that specific Makabel. So these are the 3 levels in the Mashpia. And a Makabel, on the other hand, he doesn't have any of it. The only access he has is the Orech, the Bina of his Rebbe, of the Mashpia. Okay, so by him going down up, what he needs to do? He needs to invest in understanding the letters, which is the Yesh, okay, opening up his own mind in finding the ayin that's in it. And what is that ayin would be? That would be the omek of Bina. Once he finds the omek of Bina there, he is going to enter into the process, which is called Amakasadas. Okay, Amakasadas, meaning from Iyun, he comes to Amakasadas. And from Amakasadas, which is what? Which is bringing new insight into that same concept. That would be Amakasadas. Okay? Then he is able to actually tap into his own Koach HaMaskil. And from that one concept that he learned from his Rebbe, he's able to draw down more new concepts, okay, without any limit, because he will learn the process of how to master his own mind and draw down new concepts. And then he becomes a mimik, becomes on the level of mimik. That at any given point, he'll have access to his own Koach HaMaskil. And then the process will be again, also down up. So this is, in a very short, what we have learned up until now.
Okay. So, Mila, I'm going to just share this image that I think is always really helpful. This is just, we see this process that Mila has been describing, where you're starting with the Ratzon in the skull, in the Koach HaMaskil, which is above the brains, and that's also where you have the Maimek. And then you have in the Chochma, the right brain, you have the Oimek, the Keser of Chochma, the Rochav, the Orech of Chochma. And then you have the Makasadas, which is joining the right and left brains. And now we're in the left brain, and we have the Oimek HaMosud, the Oimek of Bina, the Rochav of Bina, and the Orech of Bina. And this is what we're going to learn about today. The Orech of Bina, the Bina of Bina, that is where the Iyun of the Makabel begins. So up until now, we've learned about how the Mashpia brings from Koach HaMaskil all the way down to the Orech of Bina, the Bina of Bina. And that's really the process that we're involved in, for example, with this text, where the Rebbe has brought down mashalim and explanations about a concept, and really that's what we're engaging with. We're engaging with the letters, we're engaging with the explanations, and really the work of Iyun will then be to strip away the explanations in the mashalim to find the essence of what he's trying to say to us. And this is what we're going to start learning about this week and next week, is this process of Iyun. Okay, so I certainly find that this visual representation is quite useful, just to look at that, see that process. All right. So Mila, can you share the graph that we're going to fill in just to make sure that everybody is on the same page here. And I want to ask everybody who can to please turn on your video, because we're going to do an exercise together that we need everybody to participate. Because we just want to make sure that, you know, as we go into the Eon process, that we know that everybody knows what we learned up until now. Thank you.
Oh, 1 second, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Here we go.
So what we've learned up until now is the role of the teacher, who goes from up to down. And what we wanted, and here are all the processes in the middle. And now we want to know from you, we want to see from you, where does it start? What's the next stage? What all the stages are? And then we'll fill it in.
Yeah, and they're not in order. We tried not to make them in order.
Okay, so what does the teacher begin with? The mashpia. You can either write it on the chat or you can say it. All right. I guess Nakama?
Koach HaMaskil?
Yeah, good. Mila, do you want to move it? Do you want to put it in?
Well, Koach HaMaskil, yes, but at the same time, what level activates Koach HaMaskil? Yeah, what level activates Koach HaMaskil? Here we go. We're gonna put Koach HaMaskil here. But what level activates Koach HaMaskil? What is that there that he says? Okay, I'm gonna give a little.
Hamokas Hadas.
No.
Nope.
No. Because Amakas Hadas, it's already after it births, and you need to deepen your das, meaning you need to nurture it.
Oh, so
what
the
happens?
So the mimic.
Mimic, excellent. Ma'amik, it's maf'il, activator, right? Mam in front of the word means to activate, right? It's I'm making something into something. Malbish, I'm addressing somebody. Ma'achil, I'm feeding somebody.
Oh, okay? Remember we had that whole discussion that we said the mimic and the Koach HaMaskil are not separate, but it's just an activator for that. It's the verb for the state.
Exactly. So we have ma'amik, we have Koach HaMaskil. What's next? Okay, now you have Koach HaMaskil. Koach HaMaskil gives what?
It's something with the Chachma.
Hamokas Hadas.
Imek of Chachma.
Okay, Gitti, we're going to ask you to not say anything and give other people a chance.
I didn't know. I know it that well. Thank you for the compliment.
So Gitti said the correct thing.
So are some of them are processes? You mentioned that the 3 processes are mimic, Hamokas Hadas, and Koach HaMaskil. They're processes as opposed to
Yes, so ma'amig,
Chachma.
hamakasadas, and iyun. But interestingly, at this stage, by the teacher, he doesn't mention that the teacher also has iyun. So we don't know it yet, right? We're going to make believe that we don't know it yet. Okay, but later on today, he's going to mention that the teacher also has iyun.
Okay, so Sarah Ginsburg.
So I'm going to put here Omek of
Okay.
Chachma.
What comes after Omek of Chochmah? Sarah on. You're muted, Sarah.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm on, but I don't have the answer.
Shosh?
What comes after the depth? You're breaking up, Shoshana.
Chachma, when he's bringing it down to the Orach of Chachma. Rachav of Chachma, and then he's bringing it down to the Orach of Chachma. Is that what, am I on the right thinking of what you're asking?
Yes. Yes. So after the Omek of Chochmah comes the Rochav of Chochmah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it goes down to the Orach.
Okay, good. Thanks. You gave us, you saved everybody from 2 steps. Mila, do you want to put that in?
Okay, there's something is happening with my share. 1 second. Okay, Rochav of Chachma. Here we go. What comes after Rochav of Chachma?
So Shoshana said it as well. She said the Orech of Chochmah. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's see. Batya. Batya, do you want to unmute yourself and tell us what comes after Orech of Chochmah? Are you there? Okay, maybe not. Okay, Nechama.
Hamakas Hadas?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No,
No,
you
it
did.
is. You're right.
That's
You're correct.
correct.
Integrate, that is the channel in Chachma and Bina. Nachon?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Hamakasad.
Oh, so it goes before on the list?
Yeah.
Well, if it's like something the crossroad between Chachma and Bina, first have to have the Bina there to have the crossroad happen.
No,
No.
that's the crossroads between Chochmah and Bina.
He is the one who facilitates Bina. Because now that the birth happened, I want to nurture it with details. What is it? How does that vision looks like? You want to have a house. Okay. Is that house is going to be where? Going back and forth, you know? I see Das as this guy standing right between the 2 brains. Okay. And he clarifies. He asks Chachma, what did you see? I saw a house. He goes to Bina. He says, he saw a house. What kind of a house? It was a house on the top of a mountain. Okay, it was a house on top of the mountain. How many floors? 3. 3. You understand? So he's the one who's going back and forth between the vision of Chachma into the details of Bina. Because the Bina needs to actualize the vision, right? That's the goal.
So in the mimer, he brings in, so where does he bring in Amakas Hadas in the mimer? Now, what paragraph? What's it discussing?
The paragraph number 11 and 12, he brings in 11, he brings it down up. In 12, he brings it, I'm sorry, up down. And on 12, he brings it down up.
And so he brings it before he discussed all the level. No, first he discussed already previously all the levels.
Yeah,
of
previously. So now he's putting pieces of the puzzle. We have to understand, like, imagine, I'll tell you, for example, when a medical student goes to school, he already knows about the concept of hands, feet, right? How come he knows it? Well, because he has a body. So it's a physical body. He went to school. He knows, like, parts of his body. So he's aware of his body. Okay, but at the same time, he goes and he learns, and they learn about the hands, and they learn about the heart, and they learn about different parts of the body. So in the learning process, they single out a particular system, okay? And they study about that system. And then they single out a different system and they study about that, right? Like, for example, let's say organs, they're going to study about the heart, they're going to study about the lungs, and then they study about the kidneys and the liver and the spleen and whatever else, right? Whatever else organs we have. And then at one point, they will start making sense of how they work together, okay? So the same thing is here. We are learning different levels, okay? And in order for us to understand those levels, we need to single them out so we can understand what's going on in each of these levels, b'derech prat, in details. Then at one point, once in a while in the Maimer, we're going to be like, okay, let's put it together. How it works as a unit, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, 4 at a time, right? So especially it's much more difficult when the medical student, it's something that he knows. He knows he has a body. He knows that he eats, and then he drinks his coffee, his heartbeat goes a little bit higher. So he understands the relationship between his stomach and what he ate and his heart work. So it's something that he has a very tangible experience in. When we're talking about ruchnius ideas, something that happens in our brain that we do not feel it so much, or we're not aware of it as much as we're aware of our body, although these are the processes that happen within our body, right? But these are more ruchnius things. And therefore, it's harder for us. So that's why he first singles out, the relationship between maimik and koach hamaskil. And truly, the zoratzon should be on top there, okay? And then chochma. What is chochma? How it works? The omek of chochma, rochav of chochma, orach of chochma. Okay, hamakasadas, and then bina. And now we are putting it all together to understand how it actually works. And I'm sure there's a more detailed picture there, could be drawn also. But with what we know, this is so far the levels that we have discussed.
So what comes after Hamakasadas? So Sarah Ginsburg.
I'm actually trying to read. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit out of things, but I'm trying to read the paragraph 11 and trying to find the answer, but I don't see it. I don't see where it's coming from. So I would love to see whatever we have done till now, where is it rooted in whatever is written over here?
Okay. Well, just follow the process, because what we're doing now is we're not doing a summary of any particular paragraph. We're doing a summary of everything that we've learned until now.
I would assume, but I'm not 100% perceiving it. And I would assume that it goes the same way. Omek of bina, rochav of bina, orech of bina, but I might be completely off.
Why would you be wrong? That's exactly what it is. There's nothing, not doing anything new here. This is the
That's
process.
excellent. It is, because it goes from rochav, I'm sorry, omek and on. Great.
By the way, I just found it in the text.
Oh, I would love to hear it. Where?
It's on page Kuf Nun 302 in the paragraph.
Kuf Nun Gimel or Kuf Nun?
Well, it says Aleph, so it's It's before Kuf Nun Bey. Let me see. It's after,
Okay,
Knowledge.
I see. 302, yeah.
and I just saw it here, so I don't know if it's in the beginning. Oh, you give me chalka habina shu bechinas oimek v'recha v'oirech. Is that not answer it?
No, it's after the bina, after the gimel chilki of bina. Remember when it says, and there are 3 levels, right? Shalosh bechines. One is mamik, amakasadas, and iyun. I think it's 304.
1 minute. So mamik is something else. What do you have on here? You have oimek.
Yeah, mamik. No, we have
Mamik.
mamik. Here we go. This is mamik.
No,
It
I
tells
thought,
us koch hamaskil.
I'm sorry. I thought Sarah was talking about what was left on the floor. The oimek, reichev, and oirech of bina.
Right.
So is this the place that it mentions the 3 levels?
It does.
No, that one
mention-
paragraph that fully summarizes, remember? Yeah, this is the paragraph. Do you see this Hebrew text?
Yeah. So where is that? You said page.
Yeah, right here. V'hine yesh gimel bechinas. There are 3 aspects. Iyun, amakasadas, bechinas amaymek.
But Mila, that paragraph talks about Amakasadas and Maimik. It doesn't give the Seder Shtalshlut. The previous
No,
paragraph.
but that's, yeah, for sure. But he lays the general foundations where mamik stands and where amakasadas stands. And in between, we fill in the chokhmah and then the bina.
Okay, you're showing us the paragraph for the part that preceded this, for the middle part, for the Hamakas Hadas. So,
Right.
so 1 second. So where is that? Is that before or after?
What do you mean if that before or after?
What the paragraph that I pointed out, that's
Yeah, that's before that. You're right. That's before that talks about the 3 levels of bina. Yeah.
before it precedes this one. Oh, here it is. One before. In the Chachma over here. No. I'm sorry. Can you again tell us where to find Kihina Yesh Bechinas, Gimel Bechinas Iyun?
Gimel bechinas. It's
Oh,
Kufnun
Kufnun
Gimel.
Gimel. It's late. And that bolsters my premise that I was suggesting that Hamakas Hadas would follow on the list after we present the 3 levels of Bina. It's in the mimer, it's also presented after, but that doesn't mean that's not the reason it should be after. But
Right. But over here, it says over here, let's read it, I think it would be nice if we could just read it, right? Just to make sense how we're getting this general picture and why amakasadas is not after bina. Right? Kina yesh gimel bechinas, right? Which is amakasadas and mamik. Mamik uloshan mafil, right? Of chokhmah and bina, which means that he connects himself to the essence of the thing through the chush, right? And through this, he awakens his koach hamaskil to lahaskil and lahasig, right? The idea in all its details. And is it known that Chachma and Bina, they are both coming out of Koach HaMaskil, and they both have the Shoresh in Koach HaMaskil. And through the Mamik, and now, he awakens 2 of these roots to come into revelation in the Koach of Chachma and the Koach of Bina. Now, Amakasadas is after the Seichel comes into a revelation, right? Which is the revelation of Chochmah and Bina. Then he connects himself in the Gilui of the Sechel, right? And he cannot separate themselves, and that called Amakasadas, that he ma'amik, he deepens his das to connect himself into Chochmah and Bina to do what? Okay? And this is not stam mamik. Remember, he made it very clear that it's not the mamik level, it's Amakasadas level that, to draw down and to activate Chochmah and Bina, that whatever came from Koach HaMaskil, okay, and it's not like this Amakas Hadas, Lifol Omek Hadas, this Kasher B'Chachu Gilul, okay? Now, after that, what he does. And the idea of Chochmah and Bina, these are the essence of the Seichel. And they are only the manifestations of it, of the Seichel. They're not the essence. And you need Amakas Hadas in order to draw down the essence in the Chochmah and Bina as well.
Oh, 1 second.
And 1 second, it says, Shezeu mitzad Amakas Da'ato. And what the point of it? Shenikra das amechaber Chochmah lebina. This is the das that connects Chochmah and Bina. So from this we know that there is between Chochmah and between Bina, there is das.
Are you looking now at the parentheses?
Yes. V'zeu mitzad amakas da'ato, בעצם all the way in the end over here, right? Haskala hikra das amechaber lechochmah and Bina. That's for this reason we put amakas hadas between Chochmah and Bina.
Okay, now I'm at the period that's like 12 lines down from the beginning of this paragraph. It says, Ach hamakas hadas hu la'achar sheba hasechel ve'hahasaga lidei gilui.
Right.
So, in other words, it's not actually that it gives rise to Bina, but it nurtures. So that's why you would say that it precedes Bina, because it nurtures. But I just see as first both of them come up on the stage.
No, they came out. They were revealed, but the Bina is not nurtured yet. Meaning the Bina could come in a hidden way. That's actually a beautiful proof that the Seder Ishtalshalos doesn't come in a linear way. Right? So if Chochmah and Bina come together as a revelation, but practically we know that, let's say I'm sitting and I want to have a house. I still need to go through the process of revelation of what that house is going to look like. Right? So one might say, didn't we just say that from Koach HaMaskil, both of them are going to be revealed? Didn't we just say that both of them are rooted in Koach HaMaskil? Yes, they are rooted. But the way the Gilui happens is that you first see Chochmah, right? I want to have a house. I see a house. And then you go through the details of Bina. So the Bina seems to follow after. And in order for Bina to be developed properly, what do you mean developed properly? To be more revealed to the person himself, that he is aware of what Bina looks like, you need to have das in between there. And that's why later on it clarifies that if ain das and Bina, if there's no das, there's no Bina. Which das are we talking about? We're talking about this das hamechaber of Chochmah and Bina. It's true that the Bina is revealed, but it's not really revealed. Meaning it's not revealed in a way that a person is conscious of it.
You want to use the word developed, or you really?
Yeah, developed. Yeah, but it's revealed. What do you mean revealed? There's two separate. When we're talking about potential, and I don't want to confuse anybody, but when we're talking about potential, there are two types of potential. General terms, there are many types of potential. There is a potential where it's like a coal. You just blow on it and the fire comes out. And then there's a potential like a flintstone, that it's so deep within the person that you really need to strike on it in order for the potential to come out.
Can you use an egg that was hatched? So there's the potential, and then the chicken emerges, and that's a developed stage.
You could, but then you have to sit on it and warm it up. It has to be fertilized. There are many conditions. You could. Well, so you could see that within we have different. So the same thing is with Bina, meaning the Bina could be born already through the Chachma. If there's a Chachma, there's always Bina, but we're not aware of it. So the Das is going to connect to the vision of Chachma to bring more details. Because when I see a house in a picture in my mind, all details are there. I cannot see a house without details, right? Like, let's say I'm going to tell you, close your eyes and dream your dream house. All the details are going to be included there. You already know what kind of windows they're going to be, but you may not be aware of it. So who is going to make you aware of it is your contractor, right? Is you're going to call a contractor. Imagine you have all the money in the world and you're going to say, I need a house. He's going to ask you millions of questions. Okay. And you would have to go back to that vision that you saw of your perfect house and tell him what kind of tiles you want, how big the rooms are, what the forms of the rooms. And you know, contractors, have you ever done contracting job? It's an exceptionally painful process because you need to constantly go back to your vision and bring it back. So now where is that? Who is going to be this mechaber between your vision and your contractor? That's going to be your makasadas. Because by that time, you have to be so connected to your vision, so you're not going to give up. And das is a tokif. Remember, das is that power that's going to make sure it comes into a pa'ula. If not that das, you're going to say, you know what? After question number 59, I don't need a house anymore. Bye. If you cannot get my vision, forget about it. Okay? So that's exactly what we're talking about. Like, where is that tokif? Where is that power that's going to be within that person that's going to be connecting the bina and chachma? So you could create a beautiful house, but it's not going to be your house. There's no etzem there. Because remember last week, before the last week, last class, we spoke about why we need to have das there to begin with. You already gave birth to chachma, right? Who cares if there is going to be another amakasadas there? You already had mamik. It's also das. What was the answer? How can I make sure that the essence is going to come through? Because Chachma and Bina are only the hispashtus, are only the manifestations, they're not the thing itself. So when you see a vision in Chachma, okay, that's a vision of the essence, thanks to the Das Elyon there. So Das Elyon is what delivers the truth. Your house, not a house. It's going to be your house where your essence wants to express itself. Okay, Dira Batachtoinim for you, the way you want to see it. It's personalization there.
When you have a chance, I just wanted to carry on before you go on. So you're going on to the next point here, which is not really the next point, part of the same point. But we talked about the egg, and I'm looking in the same paragraph, and I'm drawing a correlation from when you said, well, the egg, you have to sit on it and this and that. I said, right. That for me becomes the muscle for the focus. You have to sit with that idea and really sit with it. Don't leave it. Nurture it.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait.
It's an excellent, you have to.
Wait, one second. Then I see in that paragraph when it said that after the Seichel and the Hasag, the Chachma Bina, come lidei gilui, that's the Hiskalus of the Chachma Bina, Oz, miskasher, begilui HaSeichel, that's the Chachma and the Bina idea, actually you chalifra mimenu, and that's Hamakas Hadas. What happens is that he takes that thing, those sparks, and now he sits on it. He sits on those eggs and he develops it. And that focus, that would be called the Hamakas Hadas. It's possible Hamakas Hadas can have several parallel nominations, like titles and roles and missions, but that itself is one big one.
Yeah.
So, which means, let's say, let's say, how was a human born, created? There are many possible seeds that can be fertilized, but they're not. Until you get one, you get hold of one, and you cut hold of that one, and you don't let go, and you develop that one. So when you say Gila, maybe there's a lot of sparks that are sparking around in my brain, but until I take one and I focus on it with Hamakas Hadas, no, it's not going to develop into something mamashistic.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly why the das, the hiskashrus is essential. And you're bringing, you know, the creation of a human being. Exactly. It says vayada, right? This is talks the same language. Yada. Yeah, das. To create a human being. And sometimes, you know, there is a relationship, but nothing comes out of it. You know?
Now I understand what you're saying, that it's singular, but not really revealed, because you didn't do anything to take it anywhere, so it can just fly away, a spark that flew off.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You know, when you were speaking, I don't want to, like, I'm doing too much talking here. But I'm just now building a closet. You said the contract. I go, oh my goodness. I'm right now in the middle of planning a closet. And I can't begin to imagine how many hours this man that's building the closet is sitting with me and planning. First, we had one idea. Then we had another idea. Then we thought we're going to make it this way, divide it this way. It's like, I don't know, it's like 7 feet. And then it was not right. It was complicated because I'm taking two functions. One is a food to hold food, and one is to hold clothing, and I'm putting them side by side in the back room, and I'm not working this one out. And then I went back to my original, and you said that whole point about go back to where it came from, the essence of the idea. I said, 1 second, now I remember, why am I making this closet here? Because they're replacing another one in the room that I'm renting out to a girl in the basement. Now I have to replace it. Let me go back to that closet, look what worked for me there. And now I know I don't need those fancy ideas of the pullouts under this and that. Now I can resolve the problem a whole new way, a whole new plan, and be completely changed. Why? Because I had to go back to the essence of the idea that sparked it in the first place and connect it to that. So everything you said now is sparked now in my life on that situation.
I mean, it's exceptionally practical, to be honest. 100%. When we stay faithful to our narrative, okay, because when we work with other people and we need to explain our vision to somebody else, a lot of times we get drifted off from our original, what made us want to do this to begin with. Want to do this, meaning what was our initial ratzon? If we had our initial ratzon, that means we have our initial oneg. And what was oneg? That was the beginning, the revelation of our essence. So if we are not connected to that original oneg and ratzon, and what was that first picture in our chachma revealed, the whole thing is going to get distorted. You're going to get a beautiful closet. Somebody's going to get a beautiful house. Somebody's going to get a beautiful thing, but it's not going to be theirs. Yeah. Like imagine somebody goes and somebody makes a portrait of you, but it's not you. And imagine this a foolish discussion between the artist who could say, well, don't you have two eyes? Don't you have a nose? Don't you have a mouth? I did exactly this. How ridiculous that would be. But that's not my portrait. I want my portrait where it resembles me. And sometimes it does resemble you, but it doesn't catches the essence. And sometimes you see an artist just with few lines, he makes you. Yeah, have you seen this? Have you ever went to experience of actually getting your own portrait? And you're like, yes, this is me. Yeah, you recognize yourself because you know who you are. So that is what we're talking about. And the das is the ability, not so much pouring the pratim. No, it's like that guy who adds the eyes and the lashes, and he makes you cheeks and the nose and the lips and every single line but it's not you. And the other guy just did few lines. You could count them on your fingers how many lines he drew, but it's you. So he was able to capture the essence, and the other one had a lot of details but didn't. So what was that in the Seder Ishtalshalos that will ensure that the MS comes through is das. That's why we see so many das's there. There's a maimik, and then zamakasadas, and then this. Between every two levels, there's das.
A question: where comes the idea of a person changing his mind? שיניתי את דעתי. דעתי, שיניתי אותה. A girl has an idea who she wants to get married to. She has her idea.
But it depends where it was coming from. If it was coming from her brain or from her mother telling her what the perfect husband should be, or her teacher or her friends, or what's trendy out there, and she catches it due to her lack of maturity, and then she says, yes, I'm going to go with. We're really going into another discussion. I'm in the middle of writing an article about comfortable kids. You heard about this expression? Comfortable kids? Kids who fit, like a perfect kid that parents love and adore. They listen right away. They never challenge your decisions. And they just do exactly. And to be honest, that's a parent-enmeshed child, where there is no them, there is no individuality, there's no, yeah. And usually when kids do not listen, we think that there's a problem. It's the other way around. When kids always listen, that's a big problem. Where is the child there? A child's supposed to be a separate entity from a parent. Child should be challenging parents, because through this challenge, they find themselves, what they want to be. And you know what? It might actually look very similar to what a parent does, okay? But it's going to be their choice to do it. And I think a lot of times when we're talking about shidduchim, yeah, sometimes it's put on her what the perfect thing should be. And a lot of times through dating different people, they might say, like, I don't know, it's not really shiniti dati. It's when she becomes more mature and discovers who she wants versus what is like a good model, a good like ideal out there for a perfect husband. You know, like it's a very individual. So sometimes as we grow, we tap deeper into, you know, what we want.
Going back to Giti's example, that she wanted to build a closet and she was shown this and that and the other thing. And then she went back to the original and said, this is exactly what I want. Sometimes, how do we make sure that we tap into what we really want? What is a real idea?
I guess we sometimes need to sit on our eggs.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
That's really the process of das.
Minyan le'inyan boto inyan. I have a contractor here, so I have to attend to him. I'm going to listen to the recording later on.
That's so.
Mila, I think that we should move on and look at the next paragraph, because it also brings
I'll come back, but
clarity.
I have to attend to the person here.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so we're gonna go into here, right? So we're gonna basically go into, I'm gonna make it a little bigger for us to see. Yeah, are we here? Did I move too fast? What happened? This is page 306, right?
Yeah, it's on 306. Echt beginnen sy Hanikra Hagimel Hanikra Eon.
306.
Am I right? Oh, 306. Yeah, I see. It's the next one. Where is it? Beginnen sy Gimel, right? Okay,
Right.
good.
And for those who are doing English, it's page 45.
Thank you, Maria. I mean, to answer quickly to what she asked, yeah, you need to sometimes discover, because you see, we have so many layers in us. And I know a lot of times people feel like, let's put it this way, we have our body that has their own processes. Then we have our nefesh Bahamas that has her processes. Then we have our nefesh Elokis that has her processes. And then we have our essence. That's a manashama. So there are so many things going on within us, and to sift through all this. And then we also have chinuch, right? Ideas and suggestions from outside world of what's right, what's wrong, and all that stuff. To really find the essence, it's definitely not an easy thing to do. But one thing I think is essential is what we keep saying throughout this course, is that we should not force the bechein. It's very essential, right? When we force the bechein, we're having a conversation with somebody. It doesn't mean we don't have to buy it for truth, true value. This is the opinion. Let me see if this resonates with my opinion and my values. That means a bechein. Sometimes we're forcing a bechein, and it may not be a right situation. So when we sit on our eggs, so quote, and we allow processing, we could come closer to truth. Okay, let's move on. And also, the truth is very subjective, because as we develop, we able to tap into something deeper. Okay, ready? Go. Bechinas Gimel. And the third level, Nikra Iyun, is called Iyun. Shu Bechinas Kivutz Ubitol. That it's the aspect of Kivutz. Kivutz is focus. Kivutz is gathering all the powers into one, and bittul. And I'm not going to translate this word, bittul, because it's not just self-nullification. It's more than that. And what is that bittul is going to do? It's from miyesh la'ayin, from yesh into ayin, from something concrete into more abstract. Hainu, which means shemal bish sichloi. So now he gave us this beautiful cloud. Oh, it's a concentration, is gathering together, and the bittul from mayin liyesh. And a person might think like, I don't know what that means. Okay, so he explains what this means. And I think this is very essential to pay attention to what that means. Shemalbish sichloi, that he enclosed his brain, bebechinas ha'oisios, in the aspect of the letters. We have a text. This is what we're doing as we're speaking. We're trying to understand, what is he talking about? We are reading and making sense of the letters. Okay? Because sometimes we read and it doesn't make sense. But now we're trying to make sense out of it. Like, meaning we are not thinking about anything else, not my soup, okay, not my kids bickering outside of this door, not this and not the other, right? I'm concentrated. That's why he uses the word kibbutz. I'm concentrated on these letters, okay? Sichloi. Bebechinas ha'oisios hanikra yesh. And the oisios hanikra yesh, right? So he is concentrating on the yesh, meaning what's in front of him, okay? And I'm exerting myself. To look and to find the ayin that's enclosed in them, right? It's not just to look. Some people spend all their life looking for things. But the bracha here is that you have to look and find the ayin. Shu bechinas tamtzita shel azvara. Hanikra ayin shel hayesh debina. What is tamtzita? Tamtzita is the point. Tamtzit, a davar, is also like a concentrate. Okay, like in olden days, people used to make tea essence, right? They will make a very, very big amount of tea leaves, okay, and make it into, you can put hot water in it and make it into very, very concentrated piece. And then they'll just put a little bit. There's still people in some cultures drink this type of tea. They put a little bit and then they dilute it with a lot of hot water, okay? And they'll just drink it. Now, that's exactly what it is, meaning you take a point and then you're able to take a little bit and dilute it in a lot of water, okay, and drink it. And sometimes the tamtzit is bitter. The tea essence are quite bitter. They're not enjoyable to drink, but this is the point. And then you dilute it. Okay, bechinas tamtzita shel azvara, of the explanation, which is nikra ayin shel hayesh of the bina. Vazeo omek hamusak, and this is what omek hamusak means. Omek hamusak, from everything what we learned, the point. Okay, and this is bina. Venikra keser and bina, and this is the crown of bina. Now, and bechinas ha'iyun, and the aspect of the iyun is what? Einot shayach rak betalmid. Oh, now it's a chiddush, right? It's a new thing that wasn't discussed before. The bechinas of the iyun is not only by a talmid. It's not only us as students we do this. No. Which is talmid, what does he do? Hashomea sechel mirabo, that he hears an intellect from his Rebbe. She'ena mekabel b'tchila rak chitzonius hasechel. We in the beginning get only the external aspect of the sechel. Through work, we get the internal. Shehu hasechel amilubash behasvarim ha'mashalim. Because what do we get from the Rebbe? We get explanations and the mashalim. Okay, I'm just going to go up a little bit. Okay. Shehamti harav, that these azvarim and mashalim were actually found and created by the Rav. Lahalbish bahem etzem azvara, to enclose in them the essence of the explanations, which was the orech of the Rav. Okay, so now, the Rebbe, right? He had to have his bina of bina. So his bina of bina was to enclose the seichel into different explanations and different mashalim, so we can relate to. So when we mekabel, this is what we mekabel. We mekabel this package of these explanations, okay? And what do we need to do? We need to unwrap it. He was wrapping it, and we need to unwrap it, right? So now this is the meeting point. Orech of bina of the Rebbe with our orech of bina of the mekabel. And therefore, when a person wants to come into the depth of the explanation, what he needs to do, he has to start with iyun, which is what? Again, he explains. You see how many times he explains? He wants to drill it in our mind. It's an effort. Okay, limtzo omek shebahem, to find the depth in them. Okay, it's not a question whether there's a depth or not. For sure there is. I am on an agenda to find the depth in them. What is this all about? Yeah, and that koach, this curiosity that puts me into my effort mode, into my yigia mode. Okay, what the Rebbe is talking about, it's called koach zeha'iyun. Okay, this koach of the iyun, it's called iyun, analysis. Nikra gamkin bina shebebina. It is also called bina of bina. It's a mekabel, of the mekabel. Okay. Interestingly, parenthesis, kiba bechinas bina shebebina, because in this aspect of bina of the bina, yesh ba shnei koichos, she has two powers. Okay. Interestingly, what kind of two powers are we talking about? Well, we spoke about it when we were learning about omek and orech. There was a yichud. Okay, that anything that goes down goes up at the same time. Anything that goes down goes up at the same time. Ha'alef, hu koach ha'yirida. The first one is the koach of going down. What does it mean going down? Meaning I want to lahalbish hasechel v'hazvara b'mashalim shaynim. I want to enclose the explanations and in all kinds of different levushim, kind of different expressions, right? I'm going to give this mashal and that mashal. Like right now, in our today's discussion, we give eggs, we give coals, we get flintstones. Why do we need to bring all kinds of different things? Because every single mashal talks about different aspects. Why for Gitti was important to bring out the idea of eggs? Because with eggs, you need to sit on it, right? You can't just give an egg and expect a chick to be born. Okay, so that's why this brings out the idea that you need to dwell on the idea. Okay, the coals gives that sometimes you need to just blow on it and the potential is right there. The flintstone, you need to strike on it, right? So all these different mashalim, no mashal is perfect, but they bring out a certain aspect of the concept. And that's why we need to bring all kinds of different mashalim that a mind will understand, right? That's why he uses the expression belevushim shonim, not just one levush. It has to have many garments. This is the length. This is the idea of bina of the mashpia. Interestingly, v'habes, and the second one, shu koach ha'ilui. The same iyun has two aspects. One is to bring it down by the mashpia, and the other one is to bring up. Bring up for what? Shu b'chinas habitul. That is the aspect of the bitul. Excuse me, who has a bitul? Sure, you have to have bitul to give, and because through that process you're also receiving, which is also hafshata. We need to let go of our limited understandings of how the world works. Okay, because if we're going to hold on to our moach hagashmi, into our cemented perception of things, we're not going to move anywhere. Okay, we need to be able to become from a hard ice into a flowing river, into an expanded viper, right? So it's the same matter, but it has three forms into it. So the same thing is here, right? It has to be bittul. Ice cannot have bittul. It has to be warmed up to go into a fluid mode. Okay, so this is the process of the hafshata, removing oneself from limiting characteristics, right? Like the ice is hard. Well, water is not hard anymore, but it's the same thing. He has to let go from miyesh la'ayin, from yesh into ayin, to b'chinas iyun. And this is the aspect of iyun, the analysis, where the way I understand things, it's not the end. I'm able to let go of the way I understand the world and I understand the concept and what I think is right or wrong, and to embody a new way of understanding things. Okay, and that willingness is called bittul. Okay, and this is the aspect of bina, she'etzel mikabel, that of the mikabel. Okay, so there's two powers. One is to bring down and one is to go up. Okay, nun, and this is the aspect of nun, shebemilui shelo, that in the way it's nun spelled out, the actual word nun, it's nun vav langenun. That's called milui. Okay, shelo. Shehu nun pshuta, right? It has the langenun here, right here. Okay, kihanun kofufa moira al bechinas habitul. So now the first nun talks about the bitul, miyesh la'ayin, shu bechinas ha'iyun hanal, right? Which is, we just spoke about this iyun. V'hanun pshuta moira al bechinas ha'orech. And obviously the langenun has this length to it. That's why it's called a long nun, right? It talks about the length of it, hanal, shu hamshacha. That's a manifestation. It's coming, drawing down the ayin layesh, from ayin to yesh. And what's the story? Which one precedes?
Nun kfufa.
Well, a person might nun kfufa, yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because of the bitul.
But isn't it the makabel first have to give me in order for me to go up with it? Isn't it the nun of the mashpia should be before the nun of the makabel? Nun pshuta is the nun of the mashpia, right? And nun kfufa is the nun of the makabel. So why nun of the makabel is before? Why?
Because every makabel needs, a mashpia needs bittul too, what?
Amazing, yes, the mashpia needs bittul too. And also, interestingly, without the nun of the makabel, no hashpah can take place. If I, as a makabel, will not open a space in me, an allowance that maybe there is something greater than me exists in this world, and therefore I need to learn. Okay? There's no learning can take place. A mashpia could give from today until tomorrow. If I don't open internal space, hashpah cannot go in. We're not lacking hashpah. Hashem gives us, Rebbeim gave us, the Rebbe continues giving us. All that light shines. What we're lacking is Kli Kabbalah. That's what the Mittel Rebbe writes all the way in the beginning of Shara Yichud. We are lacking tools to accept. Okay, so once we accept, once we have that bittul within us, we have it everything. The Rebbe said already, Mashiach is here. We're not lacking hashpah from Hashem. Rebbeim already did the Avodah. We are lacking our internal space to open up and to let go of our Golos mentality and how we see things in Golos and to allow this to come in. Okay, and that's why the nun in the milui of nun kfufa precedes the nun pshuta. When we do our work of our yigia, okay, hainu machmas shekol mashpia ubechinas mekabel legabe lemala. Right, every mashpia is also a mekabel from the higher sources. Okay, hainu, which means shelefi erech omer kabbalasai, that exactly in exact proportion from his omek of his receiving, okay, mishalamala, hemeno, from something that's above him. Ken yochel lahashpia achar kach shalamata hemeno. He's able to be mashpia to the lower than that. Okay, and we also v'lachein nun pshuta, and therefore nun pshuta hu b'milui tafel lenun kufa. And therefore nun pshuta is secondary to the nun kfufa, right? To the first nun, right? Which is nun of the makabel, vadal. Okay, and that's pretty much it today. Today's portion.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When we read over here that Bina, there is Bina Shebebina, right? So I thought within the person himself there is Bina Shebebina, which means there are two aspects over there. Not between, or can we say that within the person himself there is the aspect of Mashpia and Mekabel?
It's both, exactly, within the aspect, for sure. There is Mashpia and Mekabel within me. There's also Mashpia and Mekabel within others. So this system, we want to call it, right, could apply to anything. It's a relationship, right? So there's a relationship of me within me with all the levels of me, and then that goes with the relationship outside of me. But it's the same system, right? Meaning the Mekabel has to be ready to receive so the hashpah can take place.
Wow. Okay.
Can I offer an example? Merely you sparked something when you said that the mashpia has to be open to have to open also the kalim of the makabel, and it's really connected to something that was mentioned in yesterday's chitas, where it gives an example for elevating something neutral, even if it's a luxury thing. And the example was given of the Milsa de Bedichase that Rabbi used to precede each lesson with a humorous anecdote. And the Rebbe explains about this in the Lechadodi, about how the Talmud and the teacher are very distant from each other. And how is he going to bridge? How is he going to create an openness in the students to be able, so the mashpia has to reach down to the level of the Talmud, and he has these lofty ideas that are beyond the Talmud's level. The Talmud has to want to reach up to the teacher to receive the teaching. So the milsa de bedichase is humor, and humor opens, it opens kelim, it expands because of the laughter. And the laughter is a whole thing about in Kabbalah, how it's accessing tainug. Oh yeah, okay, we learned about tainug, that your inner koicha, so it expands, your entire system expands. So this created the bridge that the Talmud should reach up, and now his mouth is open. He was expanded, and now he wants to receive. There was a bridge created through this humor. And by the way, just another added wrinkle to the whole thing is really the humor is of a higher, the tzchik is a higher root than the chachma itself. That also the Rebbe explains there. And it's also, obviously, we touch on it here as well, for sure. And
yeah, that's actually one of the things that AI cannot do yet, right?
What's that?
AI can't have humor. It doesn't have a sense of humor. They could be taught to understand what a joke is, but they can't actually understand it. They could repeat it, the joke, but they cannot analyze. AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh, AI. Oh yeah, so lucky that's, you got to be human. And
yeah, so if you are in a field of if you're a comedian, you cannot be replaced yet.
Good point. So and the chachma that he did the humor as a hakdama, and then he began the lesson. What was the lesson? Chachma. So the chachma is a lower root source than the tainug with which he sparked the student. Interesting.
That's great. Yeah. So he wants to bring them to the original thing, so they're not going to be too intellectual. Like they, you know what I mean?
Mila, do you want to go to breakout rooms? Or people?
Yeah. So what are we going to do in the breakout rooms, Neria?
Actually, what I think we should do in the breakout room is not what we planned with the worksheet. What I think people should do in the breakout room is you can disagree with me, you can tell me, Mila, is to read the summary of the paragraph, just to make sure, because we spoke about so many different things, just to make sure that they understood this paragraph, the pshat of this paragraph, because I'm not sure that everybody got that.
I think this is a great idea, and then they could come back and share with us what
right, and then we can do the graph together
with their own words. Yeah.
So
everybody has access to the
summary. I just posted it into the chat here, and it's also on the it's on the WhatsApp group, the summary of this paragraph. And yeah, so then
we're going to do 3 groups, so this way it's going to be 3 in each. And
so just basically to review, make sure that you get the pshat of what this paragraph was about, and then we'll come back and fill in the second part of that graph. We filled up from up down, and then we'll fill from down up together. Once
amazing. So the rooms are open. Please join.
Might need to make 2 because I'm not sure that everybody is joining.
Right. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move it to her to room 2.
I'm not able to join.
You're not able to join you want to join, or?
Yeah, I'm pushing the thing and it's not responding.
Okay, see what's happening now.
No. No, let me try. No, it's not responding.
Yeah, Ilana, you want to join? Ilana Reichman? Oh, she did join. Sippy, you did join or no? Oh, no,
No.
I see.
No,
So
I didn't. It's not responding. Let me go back to hold on. Let me try and go back to the original. That's what I did last time. Hold on.
And there's somebody who just joined now.
No,
No.
I'm
I'm
not able
assigning
to.
it to the group also. They went into it. No? Mm-hmm.
It's not responding.
Okay, so let me try. You want to try now, Zippy?
No, I don't know. It's not responding.
Yeah, Alana, are you with us? Ilana?
Yes, not. So Tsipi's not able to join?
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't know. I added her.
You want to send it to me again? Please?
Sure. Yeah, you want to try it?
It's not showing up. Nothing is showing up.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting.
No.
Oh, I should stop recording. Okay. All right, so after having looked at the English version of it, hopefully it's quite clear to you what that paragraph was all about. What it is about. And Mila, if you would, can you share that screen and we'll just, do a summary of it.
Yes. And we're going to do the summary on the other side, which is student down up. Second.
Actually, in the next paragraph, he goes into more detail about the down-up process. But, just for whatever, we should be able to know now what the process is from the student down-up.
Amazing. So what are we going to do? So who is going to be our nasher? Where the student begins?
Iyun.
Correct. It's going to begin with Ewan. It's right here. What happens after he's Ewan? He works on the process and blah, blah, blah. And he reaches what?
It says over here, Omek of Bina, but what do we do with Rochav of Bina?
Right. So that's why actually I just realized in this paragraph, he doesn't go step by step. He's doing a jump. He says, if you want to, he makes jumps from one stage to the other. And next week he's going to go step by step. So we're just going to follow our own logic here. And Mila, I just muted you. And see where you would, what is the logical process? And next week we'll see, he talks about it in detail.
Rochav of Bina should be next.
Right.
Because when he's Me'ayen, he gets into all the details and he understands the Rochav, and from there he could get to the Omek, to the idea that is behind it all.
Beautiful, yes. Yeah, because from Orech, he comes into this Ribui Pratim, right? And meaning from the Omek goes this way, and then through analyzing it, he comes into Omek of Bina. Omek HaMusak, it's also called, right? So he's going to come to Omek HaMusak.
So
What
it's like,
happened?
so it's like the kibbutz is taking place, right?
Yes.
So why is it opposite than from above to below, where Oma comes first and then Zrachav?
Because we're going down up. We don't have Omek yet. We are just looking at the length of the Rebbe that gave us. We need to engage our length and to move up. And then when we're going to engage our Eon process, which is Orech of Bina, then as Sarah said, we're going to be confronted with many details. And we need to process them, right? We're going to process all these details. What's going to happen when we process these details? We're going to reach with the agenda to find the ayin. We're going to reach the ayin because this is our initial intent. Nobody wants just to experience a bunch of details. It's not fun. We could drown in details. We could get caught up in details. There is no pleasure in details.
Nechama, what's your real question?
I just, for something in my mind told me that logically it should just be the opposite going, but I hear what you're saying.
What is the opposite that you think it should be?
Because with the Mashpia, Omek comes first. Omek of Bina comes first and then Rochav.
Yes. Okay, so here we start. What is the Orech of Bina? That's where we start. We're starting at the most external place where the Mashpia has brought down mashalim, explanations, and that's where we enter. Just like we're entering this text. What are we dealing with? We're dealing with words and mashalim and ideas. And slowly, slowly, we come to a broader understanding, which is the Rochav. And then as you go deeper and deeper, you'll come to the Omek of Bina, which contains the Tamsita Saga, which you begin to sense the essence of it. You don't sense the essence in the beginning. In the beginning, you're on the outside.
Okay,
Most external.
so the Mashpia is starting with essence
Yes,
and bringing it down.
yes. We now on the outside, and we need to go in, the Makabel goes from outside in, the Mashpia goes from inside out. In a way.
Not
Yeah.
like it. I want to close it. It's cold. Sorry. Okay, great. So we reached the Omek HaMusak. Now we understand the point. What's the point? I'm going to give you an example, a little bit harder example. When we learned Dvar Malchus, for example, right? Dvar Malchus is this multi-layer essay of the Rebbe, of the Sikha, right? Have you ever, you see the difference between the regular Sikhis that the Rebbe gives and the Dvar Malchus Sikhis? Right? All the years, I was like at awe at the Sikhis. And yet, like I'm starting recently, going into it, this is exactly the process that you see all these letters, all these messages, and all these examples. And over there, the Rebbe brings one thing, and then he brings another thing, and then he brings totally different things. And he connects it with the Parsha, not with the Parsha, with certain stories. And it's very long. Okay. And to be honest, nobody enjoys just reading it. Because you want to get the point. You want to get like, okay, you're saying all this. What are you trying to bring out? Like, where is one paragraph that unifies the entire Sikha? Does that make sense? So that's when your mind is at a lookout for that. It's a different part of learn. It's a different way of learning. We cannot start learning without Iyun, because Iyun establishes a foundation. How you gonna reach Rochav? How you gonna survive through that sea of details that are thrown at you? And they're literally thrown because you see no connection between them. To be honest, what would put me off learning specifically Dvar Malchus is the overwhelm of details. It's about 20, 25, all kinds of different details, jumping from one subject to the next. And you're like, Rebbe, what do you want from me? You know, what is that? It's incomparable to Mittel Rebbe's Chassidus. If you think that Mittel Rebbe's Chassidus is difficult, nothing to talk about. Dvar Malchus is a totally different thing. He pulls from all the Rebbeim, the Rebbe, and he brings with events in the world. And it's such a, like, every time I would study it, I was like, okay, I really don't have brain for this. Okay, but what is it? You have to activate your brain. So you do have brain for that. You're like, okay, show me what is that you want from me to know. And that question constantly rings in your mind. And this is what's Iyun. This is like a thesis of Iyun. I want to know, show it to me. I'll get there. So that keeps you surviving all the Rochav. Because if you jump into Rochav without preparatory work of Iyun, you can't. You're gonna drown. You're gonna be like, okay, it's not for me. This is what we say when we did not step into with the Iyun mindset. We're like, okay, it's too much. I'm stepping out. Okay, the Iyun is the foundation of any learning success, because it's going to make us to survive the Rochav of Bina, and so we can actually have the aha moment of Omek HaMusag. So the difference between Omek HaMusag and Chochma, truly not so, later on we're going to talk about it, right? But right now, we're not going to go into it. What's the difference between Omek HaMusag and Orach of Chochma? So then what do you think happens after Omek of Bina? Let's just finish up the drawing. What happens?
העמקת הדעת.
Exactly, why?
You're starting to get connected, perhaps, to the chokhmah of the whole thing.
Exactly. You're starting feeling, and das is about feeling. You're starting sensing the concept. It's no longer intellectual. Remember, that is there for. Das is removing the intellectual component. Omek of Bina, it's still intellect. Amakas Hadas is going to bring you into an experience. That's where the paradigm shift is going to happen. Meaning, the Omek of Bina, right? Omek HaMusag is going to provide you with utmost what a human brain can do. Being a Mekabel. Okay? That's the maximum. What a brain with our consciousness could allow us to do intellectually. And this is the key word, intellectually. Okay, and I know with Nechama, we had many talks about how is Chabad reaching to the heart, right? How is Chabad is more pro-experience versus, being just an intellect. Okay, and this is what it is. This is where the gap takes place, is when it's not an intellectual perception, but it becomes an experience. Omek Amakas Hadas.
So you're saying that in general, Das is more experiential than Chochmah and Bina.
It's not more, it is experiential. Exactly. So because remember,
and sort of making that into an experience, into a whole.
Yeah, it's like me telling you about a miracle versus you experiencing a miracle. You see the difference? I think it's a huge difference, right?
I mean, that's what my take on education, Bichlal, is it has to be more experiential. It has to be more That's just,
Again, it's for sure that's what everybody's screaming is like, no, it's not just intellect, right? It's not just intellect. It's not just academics, we call it, right? It's not just academics. It's the experience of it.
but
And
you
even
know,
within the academics, it's the actually experiencing is becoming what you learn. Right? That's
but
what
you
that
see the
will allow.
children, they light up. They're happy when they learn that way, experientially.
For sure, because das is the middle line, das will connect them to the oneg. And that will give birth to the ratzon, the desire. Right? If we're not activating our crown faculties, right? We're going to get cold, dry, chitzonius being a learning. Okay, so what comes after Amakasadas? Amakasadas is a personalization. It's me, it's happening to me. I'm part of the process. It's not just cold intellect by somebody else. What happens after Amakasadas? Right? What's Amakasadas is put on a table? The experience of our right brain, right? A sensory experience, which is going to be what? Amazing, yeah.
No,
So, orach, yeah.
the most
Right.
external part of Chokhmah.
And then it's going to bring us into
Omek of Chokhmah.
Rachav. Remember the way
Yeah.
Chokhmah is, right? The way
Yeah.
Chokhmah is, because this is where the revelation of the actual Chokhmah takes place. And then an interesting process opens up, right? We going into the Ma'ayan, into the depth of the Ma'ayan, right? Which is what? Where is this Aleph and Pele? And this is where the Rebbe bringing us, right? We in Tafshin Pei Hey. We have another 4 years to, right? Klaois, Pele. Yeah. We are into this level of Aleph and Pele, right? This is where the Rebbe wants us to be. Okay.
Then goes Omek of Chokhmah.
Exactly, yes. Then goes Omek of Chokhmah. And once we have Omek of Chokhmah, where are we? We're in Tahom, right? On Motzei Shabbos, we actually found another word for Tahom, right? Birkois Tahom, Robetz Tachas, right? We bless each other in V'yiten Lecha, right? It's one of the blessings. It's brachis of Tahom, Robetz Tachas, right? It's like, whoa. Like I was wondering, I was like, what is that blessing? Right? There's the blessing to be in this depth all the way down. Interesting bracha. I was like, I wonder what that means. So we're actually ready for that revelation. Okay, so then we're going to go into the Omek of Chachma, and ta-da! What will happen in Omek of Chachma? We're going to reach Tahom. What's Tahom?
Koach HaMaskil.
Amazing. Now it's like, whoa. We are not only Mekabel, but now we become Mashpias. Whoa, that's an interesting part, right? We have access to the field of all possibilities. Anything could come from Koach HaMaskil, literally anything. All of a sudden, from learning Shara Yichud and accessing this level through Yohis Bonanus, you'll know how to be a better cook just by your ratzon. Right? You'll be like, oh, I want to find out how to make meringue today. Boom, an idea will come out. Right? Because your brain becomes more fluid. Right? Your brain is not this cemented idea. Well, I did not go to a course of how to learn meringues, and therefore I cannot do it. right? That's what we keep telling ourselves, that we need to be educated to know how to make your manicures, because you didn't go to beauty school, and you didn't go to engineering school, and you didn't go this, and you didn't do this. And that's how the perception of the world, that you have to get training in order to do something, right? Meaning we have to be constantly in a state of a mashpia in order to be expert in something. But here comes Shari Yochanan and says, no, no, no. Chassidus says, no, no, no. You are learning from within. It's a new model of learning, right? And that's the Mashiach way of learning, where we're going to be having no teachers. There's no need for teachers. Probably the only need for teachers is to access this level, and then you're on your own. You don't need teachers. You could learn from within, because every single person is connected with the ultimate teacher, which is Hashem. And he's the one who makes everything happen. That's what we learn in the first paragraph, right? So you have access to that inner teacher, which is your, not AI, but NI, your natural intelligence. Okay, this is what it is. I mean, if you ever worked with AI, it's a lot of fun. Any questions you ask, the guy has an answer. Another guy, it has an answer. And it's amazing. Like, you hardly don't have to have like an assistant anymore, because just do, they could do anything for you. Any calculations, any translations into any language, asking any information is out there, right? That's AI. And I think the AI came out in this era, which could have come 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 600 years ago. It could have been at any point. I think for us to get a taste of what it is to have your Koach HaMaskil full access to your own Koach HaMaskil, just to get a taste of what this will be like to know everything without talking to any human being other than you. Isn't it? That's fun. I think it's just beautiful. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. You don't need to take any courses anymore. You'll know it from within you. Koach HaMaskil is a mastery. All what you need to do is what? What do you need?
Access.
You already have access. What do you need?
A good question.
Ian,
A good question. Amazing. Yes. All what you need is a ratzon for anything. Well, you could do really anything. With any ratzon to do anything. Build a house, write a book. I don't know.
One second. We will have the ratzon.
No, but then it has to be personalized. Meaning ratzon for what? You cannot have ratzon galui. Let's put it this way: a revealed ratzon, a specific ratzon for what?
So we'll need
A want.
to take a specific ratzon and nurture it into reality.
Yeah, you'll have the whole process. Yeah, for example, if you want to open a business, and what steps of the business you need, go to ChatGPT and tell me, I want to open a cooking business in Brooklyn, New York. Please give me all the steps of the process. You press, and it gives you all the process from marketing and everything. Okay? Why? Because this just gives us an example, and within a second, you'll have all the answers, okay, of what the process is. You no longer need a business coach anymore, because he knows better than your business coach, because your business coach only has a scope of experience, what he has, that limited. ChatGPT has the entire world's experience, access, right? Obviously, it's much, much smarter. So the same thing is here. We will have an access to the Koach HaMaskil the way the creator designed it to be. Okay? And that's the beauty of it. This is our natural intelligence, not artificial. It's a natural, because artificial still has a limitation. And what's the limitation of the artificial intelligence? Who programmed it to think? Limitation number one. Whatever that person had limitation, it has limitation as well. Number two, it can only do what's out there revealed in the world. That's a limitation. Whatever was already brought down by the world, by the orech of all the world culminatively, right? Meaning there is no original idea there. There is nothing that yet was hidden and now it's going to reveal. It's not going to reveal. It's just going to synthesize something that already was from Rochav of somebody else, the conclusions, right? Okay, that's good enough. Look what kind of things it can do. Can you imagine? We have access, not we will have, but we have already access to the originality, to the chidushim that no one ever was possible to bring into this world. And every single one who's sitting right now in this chat room, which is 10 people, will have that access. So that's a chidush that's beyond the regular AI that we have, right? And this is
Well, Mila, it says that, you know, when Mashiach comes, in a way, we will realize what the advantage of this time is, that now we have the ability to do the work and to bring out something new. I don't know what it'd be like in the time of Mashiach, but the work will have been done. Now we have the opportunity to do the work, and the experience of what that means to do the work and to bring down the chidosh and have to the oneg is going to be something that we will miss when Mashiach comes.
I guess there's an aspect of hunger in what you're saying, Naria, right? When we are in Gullus, we are in that state of like hunger. We want it, you know, because we lack. Because when we approach things from the state of a lack, when we are given food, so quote, right, we actually feel the level of satisfaction, right? So that aspect, when we don't even know how to operate not from a state of lack. Like, it's like, what would that feel like? You already have everything, right? So we're, you know, so I guess that element of a chidush is going to be a little bit different than when we have now. When we have chidush, it's like, whoa, like the oneg there is probably beyond. I don't know. I'm just stipulating.
We don't know. Anyway, we are way past time.
Wait.
And I think we should, this is what we've managed to do.
I think we did a great job.
Yeah. Next week, the next paragraph goes into the details of Iyun. And now that we've covered a lot of it, it should be easier to understand. And then after that, we go off into outer space, where we start really looking at the details of Keser. And so as much work as you can do to solidify this understanding where we've come to now is going to be really useful as we go on into the next stage.
Can I ask somebody from here, if you have freedom of time and a burning desire, maybe you could write a meditation taking us. I know you're like, oh my gosh, what are you asking me? Yeah, taking us just step by step from Omek, from Maimik into Iyun, and from Iyun into Mamik. Okay, just write the stages and describe the stages a little bit. Write and describe. This will be the process of Isbonanus into Seder Shtalshalos for you. Mehmet, it's the most rewarding part. Just write it. Okay, I'm presented with a piece of text. I'm studying it. You know, meaning describe your practice as if you are doing right now the practice of Iyun. Okay, just like a short paragraph. You'll be surprised how much it will provide you experience. This is what we're all seeking for. The information, we already wrote it down. That's it. We know the information. That's where the transformation happens. And people who I spoke with who do Hisbonos, including myself sometimes, where you actually go through these levels, you will start experiencing things. It's going to be a different experience. Okay, and I'm sure you'll have insights. You'll be like, oh my gosh, now after doing this, I got into this. And I'm not going to tell you what that would be because it's going to be your unique. And if we could do that as a homework, would be beautiful. Bye.
Thank you very much.